Hi everyone. So I want to talk about this mental model called as the map not being the territory, and it's from this book called The Great Mental Models, which is written by this writer called Shane Paris, who's really famous for his other podcast. He talks about various ways to think about a reality and a sense of self, and usually like ideas are his realm. And he also has like wide range of guests which he brings to the show and has like great conversations. In fact, so I recommend his podcast, but then the book was something which came up newly. So I wanted to just read through that and understand if there are certain ideas which interest me. And this one particularly resonated with me because it seemed to be something which I can apply across on everything in day-to-day life, right? There are these interesting ideas which once you see it just starts repeating the patterns everywhere. You can't unsee it, right? And that's one of the good examples of like what good theories do. To put it bluntly, what it means is that the description of something is not the same as the thing in itself, right? In this case, with the map and a territory, the map is the description of the territory, but it cannot truly replace what a territory is. It serves some purposes. In some sense, it's quite lossy that way, but it cannot still function as an exact replica of what a territory is. Principle, the map is not the territory. It comes from a passage from Luis Borges, who is an Argentinian writer who's famous for his collection of short stories. And this is one such short story which describes this narration by a cartographer who is known for like building maps. Right? Imagine a map which is so big. Let's say if it's a small area, but if the map almost matches the same area and tries to replicate it each pixel by pixel to how it is in reality, right? um, if a map is the same as territory, then why use the map in the first place? You can just follow the territory, right? You don't have to use the map. So at that point of exactitude, it just becomes useless, which is very counterintuitive for me, at least. When I just came across it, it was like, wow, this is interesting, because you start seeing the patterns everywhere. In fact, all maps are an approximation to some extent, right? It's by design. It's actually the feature, not the bug. Try to extend this across various other examples in the day to day, right? For example, when it comes to even AI, and we have this whole conversation about AI replacing human jobs and whatnot, right? But then AI cannot truly replace the exact human being, right? For example, humans are messy, chaotic, they are not highly computational, they lack certain things which AI could potentially surpass. Obviously, AI has better computation, better memory, better intelligence to some extent, right? But it doesn't serve the purpose of replacing a human exactly as a human is, right? It's serving other purposes which the business wants or which the society wants. We can't really say that an AI can completely replace a human being because there are so many intangible things which gets missed out, right? For example, in terms of love and emotions and care, it does get lost while an AI tries to replicate certain jobs which a human does, but not truly exactly replace it as it is, right? Just like how a map and a territory has certain things which get lost. So I see this parallelism quite a lot, not just for like AI versus, let's say, human jobs, right? I see this even in my day to day. For example, I was doing an interview recently, and after the interview was done, there is this whole transcript which emerges, right? You have this raw transcript, and from the raw transcript, you try to break that down into certain nuggets of information which serves your interest. And then finally, you have the creme de la creme. I think it's called the insights, right? The cream of the insights. So that's the usual process which we do, like generally for research synthesis and other stuff. And and it's possible to just read those insights and then say that, yeah, like you have saved a lot of time, you have saved 3 hours of just like listening to the interview and reading the raw transcripts, right? And just like have read this interview insights. which is totally fine. It could be possible that you have like very short time and you want to just at least get something out of it. But I don't think it truly replaces the fact of you having to come and join the interview and do this with the participant, right? It's a very different experience, and not just that in terms of an experience, but in terms of what you gain or what you learn as well. I see that similar parallelism, right? Right from a territory to a map. Even in the same way, the process of you listening has a very different element to it. There's a lot of dimensionality which gets missed, which gets lost in translation when it comes to just being like this summary of a summary, right? You see this also in like search results, for example, where even now in Google, you now have an AI summary which comes up on the top, apart from like all the links of lists of links with all the details, right? And it's really hard to say that you have read the summary, so you've got the gist, and you might not need to like go through the links as well. It doesn't truly save you time. Maybe it saves to some extent, but it's not the same.